Hey everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. Happy Saturday. I'm here today with a card for you. I'm making a square card. I don't make square cards very often, and I'm using the Bauble Blooms stamp set. It's actually a bundle that is coming out starting next week. It's July next week. Can you believe it? And so it's Christmas sentiments, but I'm actually going to make not a Christmas card because the bauble, I think, is great. You can use for all sorts of things. And some of us have baubles hanging in our I don't know, I've got one in my living room. And so sometimes they're glass baubles and they're not Christmassy. And so I thought that I would make one. And I'm using bubble bath and strawberry slush together with, I think, hopefully will be pretty with some gold. Hey, Marva, welcome. Okay, I'm going to get started. Some of you I know are in the celebratory SIPs stamp camp this weekend, so if you are watching, maybe you'll watch this later on the replay. Thank you for joining us. If you're interested in our Creativity Abound stamp camps, our next one is scheduled for October, so just stay tuned. You can subscribe to my newsletter. If you go to stampingwithmelva.com, you'll be able to subscribe to my newsletter, and then you'll get notified when our stamp camps come up. If you don't live in Canada, I can refer you to a demonstrator that is in your market that can help you out with the stamp camp, because we have demonstrators around the world. And so it's been really fun. Hey, Virginia, welcome from Wisconsin. All right, I am just going to do one thing. I'm refreshing my Facebook so I can see the comments. I seem to have to do that. There we go, Catherine. I seem to have to do that before I can see comments after I go live. Okay, I'm going to switch over and we'll get started. So this is the Bauble Blooms bundle that comes out Tuesday, July 1st, Canada Day here in Canada. And so definitely is Christmassy with the sentiments, but the baubles actually aren't really. These are flowers and leaves, and so that's what I'm going to use today. Hey, Sarah, on my card. Comes with 5 dies. 1, 2, yep, 5 dies. Thought I was missing one. One for the bauble. So these are actually, this is 85%. So the bauble is bigger than what it looks. So it comes with the bauble. This one will cut out the flowers and the leaves. And then you've got a bow and then 2 different caps for it. So let's get started. Like I said, I don't make square cards very often, but I thought I would play a little bit because I wanted this not to be Christmassy. Maybe you like pink for Christmas. And I'm using, this is 2-tone cardstock. So you can use, this is it comes as 12 by 12. So I'm making a 4 by 4 card. So I cut my piece 4 inches by 8 inches. And I'm going to score it at 4 inches. Now, I talked about this in the past. Remember, the 2-tone cardstock is a little thinner than our regular cardstock. And it has a white center, so you might notice when I've torn in other cards, I've torn the cardstock and you get the white center. So just if you're not wanting that white center to show, just be a little careful with it. But I've scored it at 4 inches. The other thing is, can you see the difference? There you go. So this is the dark side and the light side. So you can actually decide what color you want. And if I bring out Pretty in Pink, so it's like having 104 new colors because it's slightly different shade of Pretty in Pink than our cardstock and our ink, which is really fun. So it's like having a whole bunch of new colors that you can play with. Okay, so I've scored this at 4 inches, and now I'm just going to burnish it with my bone folder. Now, this is a card I will have to make an envelope for myself because it will fit into our standard envelopes, but if you want it to be a square envelope, you'll have to make one yourself. Okay, so I cut a piece of basic white cardstock. Now this is thick basic white, and I intentionally use thick basic white because this cardstock, the 2-tone cardstock, is thinner than the regular cardstock. And so by putting thick basic white on the front, I thought it would just give it a little bit more make it a little sturdier. Then I embossed this. This is one of the 2 embossing folders, hey Joey, from the Celebratory Sips suite. This is the glass, so it's Glass and Gardens. It just came back into stock in North America if you've been waiting for it. And so it's one of the narrow ones, and so my bauble is going to go on the left hand side, and so I embossed it farther to the right side of the card so that the bauble is going to hide most of that side of the cardstock. So that's going to go on like that. Okay, so we're going to do, this is for the inside, and it's 3 3/4. These pieces of white were 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And again, I use the thick basic white for the piece that's going to go on the inside. Okay, now I've got a scrap piece of basic white cardstock. And I'm going to stamp using, I have Strawberry Slush. Oh, it's Pretty in Pink I wasn't going to use, I just was showing you. So Strawberry Slush and Soft Sea Foam. So I am going to stamp the leaves in Soft Sea Foam. There we go. So I'm going to just take and stamp like that. I'm going to cut those out. So there's the leaves. And I'm going to stamp. I need another piece. Of course, I never bring enough pieces of paper here. Oops. I have another piece here. All right, so I'm going to stamp this. This I'm going to cut out because I want these two flowers to pop up. Like that. What else do I need? That's it, that's it. And then I need to cut. Oh, I need a sentiment. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Now I grabbed a sentiment from the Extraordinary Flora. I just want a little sentiment, so it's going to be a congratulations card. And so I'm just going to take and stamp that here in the corner, and we'll cut that out. Like that. Okay. I think I've got things. So the one thing I'm going to do is so there are it's two-step stamping. And so when you stamp, there is this one that's just you're stamping, but these two are two steps. So you can stamp this one and get the outside, and then this one you can stamp using a different color or stamped off, for example, or I could use a bubble bath for that. I'm going to stamp that in Versamark, and then I'm going to stamp, and then I'm going to use gold embossing powder, which I have to grab quickly. Oh, we seem to forget something. So I've got my gold embossing powder now. Okay, so I'm going to stamp using Versamark. It's not too hard to line this up. So I've got my Versamark, and mostly I want to line up these two flowers because that's the pieces I really want to cut out. Okay. So I've stamped that in Versamark, and then we're going to bring in our gold embossing powder that I keep in a plastic container because I make such a mess when I emboss. And so now let's get our heat tool, and we'll hold it over one spot. Till it starts to melt. There we go. There we go. I don't really need all of these little flowers around the outside because I'm really wanting just the two flowers that I'm going to cut out. But I realized I do need to stamp that again. So I'm going to stamp it in Strawberry Slush again on this. And that's what I will use to for my bauble. So we'll just take and stamp that there for the bauble. All right, we can do some cutting out now. So the bauble is going to get cut out right from there. So we'll use just a little bit of Post-it note tape. There we go. Like that. And then this die cuts out these leads. Get it lined up. Lined up as much as you can. There we go. Right, like that. So I'll bring my Stampin' Cut and Emboss over. There we go. All right, so we'll cut out these two pieces first. Oopsie, I'm missing a piece. I'm missing one of my layers to sandwich. I need layer 1, 2, and then 2 of plate 4, or 3. 1, 2, and 2 of 3s. If that makes any sense at all for the sandwich layer for just a regular die cut. Okay, so we've got our bauble, but I do need to take this off. So we've got our pieces. Hopefully I don't lose those. And then this, really all I want are those 2 gold flowers. And we'll just cut those out. So I have a stamp camp coming up that uses this Bauble Blooms. July 27th. It's online, so you can watch the videos at your leisure. You don't actually have to be around for it. There are a couple of options. You can sign up for the full retreat and get the bundle and some designer series paper, ribbon, and embellishment.